Good morning, grade 11. Welcome to our new lecture. Today, first of all, we will discuss ideas related to some of the atrocities that might take place during wars. And when we say atrocities, we mean extremely wicked or cruel acts, typically ones involving physical violence or injury. Then we're going to figure out the meanings of unfamiliar words and terms related to the theme using contextual clues. And finally, we're going to answer different comprehension and critical thinking questions related to the text. Okay, first of all, as usual, we start by answering a discussion question or some discussion questions. Today, I'm asking you to name some disasters and atrocities that could take place during an ongoing war. Think of any ongoing war in our world today, Syria, Yemen, some parts of Africa. You will find the following: hunger or famine, people dying, actually dying of hunger, and nowadays most profoundly in Yemen, where we see horrible pictures of children, just to the bone. Dying because there's not even a scrap of food for them to eat. 2, lack of health services. We could have breakouts such as cholera, where people drink contaminated water and die because there is no healthcare system to protect them or to cure them. Again, we have the issue of child soldiering, which we talked about last time, where children are taken advantage of and are taken into the military or other paramilitary groups and abused and used as weapons, if you want. 4, torturing innocent people. We've seen that in a lot of wars. It's horrible. Some villages are raided, children are tortured, women are tortured, men are tortured for no obvious reason except that it's violence against humanity. And most importantly, the death of so many innocent people who have nothing to do with the war to begin with. Okay, those people living peacefully in the villages or the places that are raided or bombarded by war have nothing to do. They are unarmed, and they're not like on the front lines in the army and they died in war. They are in their homes, okay, trying to be sheltered, but they die anyways in the thousands and 10,000s in ongoing wars. So those are some of the disasters and atrocities that take place during wars. Now let's begin with our lesson. Your tax dollars help starve children. Paragraph 1. Aden, Yemen. Aden, as we know, is the capital city of Yemen, which is currently witnessing an atrocious ongoing war where children have become the major victims. Just take a look at the boy in this picture. He's totally emaciated with no food and water, and obviously on his deathbed. Aden, Yemen, he is an 8-year-old boy who is starving and has limbs like sticks. But Ya'ub Walid doesn't cry or complain. He gazes stolidly ahead, tuning out everything, for in late stages of starvation, the human body focuses every calorie simply on keeping the organs functioning. Ya'ub arrived unconscious at Al-Sadaqa hospital here, weighing just over 30 pounds. He has suffered complications and doctors say that it is unclear he will survive and that if he does, he may suffer permanent brain damage. Paragraph 3. Some 85,000 children may have already died here in Yemen, and 12 million more people may be on the brink of starvation, casualties in part of the 3-year-old American-backed Saudi war in Yemen. United Nations officials and aid experts warn that this could become the worst famine the world has seen in a generation. And by the way, it has become the worst famine nowadays. We see pictures, just horrendous pictures every day coming out of that war zone. Paragraph 5. Both the Obama and Trump administrations have supported the Saudi war in Yemen with a military partnership, arms sales, intelligence sharing, and until recently, air-to-air refueling. The United States is thus complicit in what some human rights experts believe are war crimes. The bottom line, our tax dollars are going to starve children. Okay, as you notice here, our tax dollars, so obviously the person who wrote this article is an American citizen who's talking about how the Americans, as any citizen in the world, are paying tax dollars, and their nation is using those tax dollars to fuel and help in wars that are taking place and hurting innocent lives. Paragraph 6. I fell in love with Yemen's beauty and friendliness on my first visit in 2002. But this enchanting country is now in convulsions. When people hear an airplane today in much of Yemen, they flinch and wonder if they are about to be bombed, and I had interviews interrupted by automatic weapons fire overhead. What is most infuriating means angering, something that drives you to be angry, is that the hunger is caused not by drought or extreme weather, but by cynical and failed policies in Riyadh and Washington. The starvation does not seem to be an accidental byproduct of war, but rather a weapon in it. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, backed by the United States, are trying to inflict pain to gain leverage over and destabilize rebels. Paragraph 8. The governments of Saudi Arabia and the United States don't want you to see pictures like Ya'ub's or reflect on the suffering in Yemen. The Saudis impose a partial blockade on Houthi areas, banning commercial flights and barring journalists from special United Nations planes there. I've been trying for more than 2 years to get through the Saudi blockade, but I finally was able to by tagging onto Lowcock's United Nations delegation. Paragraph 9. After a major famine is a phase of hunger and starvation among a people. After a major famine, there is always deep thought about how the world could have allowed this to happen. What's needed this time is not a plan a few years from now, but action today to end the war and prevent a cataclysm. A cataclysm, as we see at the bottom here, is a catastrophe or a violent event. Paragraph 10. Ya'ub was especially vulnerable. Vulnerable means weak. He is the second of 8 children in a poor household with a father who has mental health problems and can't work steadily. The family sold some land to pay for Ya'ub's care, so its situation is now even more precarious. A few rooms down from Ya'ub is Fawaz Abdullah, 18 months old, his skin mottled and discolored with sores. Fawaz is so malnourished means malnutritioned, undernourished, that he has never been able to walk or say more than ma or ba. So obviously here, because of starvation, he has also developmental problems. Chest heaving and eyes fluttering, the boy lay silently on a hospital bed, a bag of bones fighting for breath. Paragraph 12. Fawaz's mother, Ruqayya Saleh, explained that life fell apart after her home in the port city of Hodeidah was destroyed by a bomb, probably an American one, as many are. Her family fled to Aden, and her husband is struggling to find occasional work as a day laborer. I used to be able to buy whatever I wanted, including meat and fish, she told me. Since fleeing, she said, war-induced poverty has meant that she hasn't been able to buy a single fish or egg, and that is why Fawaz suffers severe protein deficiency. Paragraph 14. We think of war casualties as men with their legs blown off, but in Yemen, the most common war casualties are children like Fawaz who suffer malnutrition. Some will die. Even the survivors may suffer lifelong brain damage. A majority of Yemen children are now believed to be physically stunted from malnutrition, and physical stunting is frequently accompanied by diminished brain development. Finally, conclusion. These children are the future of Yemen, Dr. Aida Hussein, a nutrition specialist, told me. Looking at Fawaz, he will be stunted. How will he do in school? Okay, the author is Nicholas Kristof, and as we said, he is an American citizen. Okay, just take a look at Ya'ub Walid's picture. Okay, totally emaciated down to the bones. And obviously, as the doctor said, if he ever makes it, he will have permanent brain damage. Okay, now let's move on to comprehension questions. What is the cause of Ya'ub's starvation? We know that it's related to war issues. List at least 2 war crimes committed against the people, mainly the children of Yemen. Give pieces of evidence from the text to support your answer. 3. Knowing that the author is an American citizen addressing the American people, explain the implication of the title of the article. Okay, what is the cause of Ya'ub's starvation? Ya'ub, as 12 million Yemenis, is starving due to war, the war waged on Yemen, which led to a shortage in the essential and basic needs, including food. Number 2, list at least 2 war crimes, give pieces of evidence. First war crime, intentionally killing civilians is one war crime committed against children of Yemen. And the statement, 85,000 children may have already died in Yemen, supports this fact. Destroying civilian property is another war crime, for lots of properties have been demolished or destroyed in Yemen. In paragraph 9, Ruqayya Saleh states, this is the piece of evidence, that her home is in the port city of Hudayba was destroyed by a bomb, probably an American one, as many are. And Ruqayya, as many others, is an innocent civilian, not a person in the war zone. 3. Knowing that the author is an American citizen addressing the American people, explain the implication of the title of the article. Okay, your tax dollars is, as an American citizen, the writer expects that the money they pay to the government in the form of taxes be paid for a better welfare system in America. However, the American government is utilizing tax money to cover the expenses of backing up Saudi Arabia and its war against Yemen through military partnership, arms sales, intelligence sharing, and until recently, air-to-air refueling, which in turn starves children. Okay, so this is what the tax dollars are fueling or are paying for. Pronoun reference. Based on the indicated paragraphs, what does each of the following refer to? This in paragraph 3, going back to this in paragraph 3, we notice or we see that it refers to 11 million people who may be on the brink of starvation. There in paragraph 4, there. Okay, in paragraph 4 refers to professionals in this field, and as I told you before, I want the answer to the pronoun referent question to be written in complete sentences, please. Number 6, refer to paragraphs 1, 10, 11, and 12. So I am referring you here. You don't need to reread the whole article to answer this question. 1, 10, 11, 12, and to fill in with one suitable piece of information for each blank. Use phrases only, not complete sentences. Condition or state. The physical state of Ya'ub. What was his physical state? Lost consciousness and may have lasting brain damage. How about Fawaz, the 18-month-old? He's extremely malnourished or malnutritioned with a bony figure who can't talk or walk, developmental issues. Now, family condition, Ya'ub's family, impoverished means, impoverished is the verb of the word poverty, okay? Impoverished family with unemployed father due to mental health, and Fawaz's family, father struggling to find a job, can't afford the daily needs. Okay, so this is how we fill them. Please, with phrases, whenever I give you such charts, never write complete sentences.